And as we leave the swamp, we will be confronted with yet another boss battle from one of the 4 riders. And in this case it will be the Serpent Rider, who's probably one of the more trickier members of the team, mainly because he has a habit of casting status moves with his whip there. And it's at this point I realise I still have the sledgehammer equipped from the swamp level, which, yeah, I have second thoughts about. Now, when fighting this guy, I can't really give you too much advice. All I can say is keep Rosalie in the background, so she can cast Cure. Because, like I said, with his status effects from his whip, he can paralyse, poison you. And then, obviously, hack at you with his Freddy Krueger claws there. Dude, you should really trim those nails. They are really overgrown. But yeah, other than that, you can see I don't really have that much trouble with this guy. I think it's just because I have these 4 team members with me. Now, speaking of these 4 riders, it's not really explained exactly what they are. I think they're just meant to be spirits or something. I mean, they look human, but I don't know. Yeah, and at this point I equip the Fiery Falcon again, because I figure that would be more useful against this guy. And here we also see a good use of Jakar, because that's essentially his role in the game, just to attack people physically. And essentially, if you can keep him busy... Oh, see, I lost Rosalie. See, she is a fairly fragile character, really. But anyway, advice for that fight? I don't know, just play it well and heal if you get in trouble. Other than that, he's not really that difficult, really. Now we talk to Torva here, and yeah, we give him back the loot. And what I like about this side quest is that he gives you like 120,000 gold coins. So it's a nice little earner. Oh, isn't that nice? He's married his lady. I'm sure that will work out all good and dandy in the end. And of course you give the Golgot's blood to the Lantern Maker. And I love what he does here. He asked us to get 6 capsules of blood, but he only needed like 6 drops. But then again, I can understand his sort of reasoning. I mean, Gargoyle blood must be really hard to come by. So if you get an opportunity to get some Gargoyle blood, yeah, you want to get more. Like, he needs 1, but really, yeah, ask for 6. And I do like the concept of the Stonefire Lanterns, though I don't exactly know what they are. You know, I thought it was hard to get blood from a stone, but apparently you can get fire as well. But anyway, to finish off this side quest, you just talk to the parties involved and collect your experience. And that's something with the side quests as well. Sometimes you do have to talk to someone to finish it off, or sometimes for example, your side quest will be finished, but you can still get extra experience if you talk to someone, even though it's not necessary to talk to another person. But yep, you just talk to the stagehand here to finish off the this side quest. Oh, and this is another reason why you want to do the swamp first, because if you do the Khosani city and then do the swamp, when you come back to the city of Linnell, you won't be able to complete all these side quests. You'll see what I mean when we get to that point, but yeah, essentially you're better off doing the swamp first, just for the sake of the side quests, really. Now, something I do here is I buy one-handed weapons, because this is a minor spoiler, but there will be a point in the game where Joseph can only use one-handed weapons. So just to make sure I'm ready for that, I'll look at the vendor here, see what he's selling, and look for a one-handed weapon, and also look, a one-handed sword, and also a one-handed mace. Just see what they've got here. Now, fortunately, by completing a side quest, I do get a quite powerful one-handed sword, which you'll see later on. But yeah, it didn't hurt buying one, just to make sure I had them in the first place. Better safe than sorry. Well, speaking of weapons, for now, I would say the sledgehammer. You could make do with that for now. You don't need to buy anything. You don't need to buy the really expensive hard weapons at the moment, because one, you'll usually find them eventually. And also, I also know that there'll be a point in the game quite soon where you won't have access to magic healing. So, just to be on the safe side, get like 50 healing items. I mean, in the end, I don't end up using 50 of them, but yeah, it's just handy to have them in your inventory. So anyway, with that, we now head to the city of the Khosani, which I've been quite looking forward to. It's one of the more interesting locations of the game. Now, to get there, you just walk this direction from the city, and you want to get an encounter in the mountains. Which usually involves going to the mountains and just walking around in circles, like I'm doing here. But speaking of which, just a reminder, you should have the Blade of Tarin from the Hierophant. The idea being we're meant to hand over this dagger as a sign between the kinship between men and the Khosani. Yeah, and the loading times haven't changed that much. Yeah, I suppose I'll recommend getting the PC version if you have a choice, rather than this PS2 version. And this is how you get in. You just find this encounter, which should come up fairly quick. And yeah, there you go. A dagger is a sign of peace. Look, I'm your ally. I've got this dagger. Look at it. I'm waving it at you. I come in peace. Ugh. I should punish myself for not editing out these load times. I really should.
The Khosani were children of Vadagar, god of the earth and lover of doomed Iona.
Ooh, that's a fabulous looking purple coat you got there, mate.
Mountain of the wise lived the last of their
And
kind.
yeah, just about the Khosani, they're kind of like dwarves, whereas they live underground. But they're also like elves a bit, because they keep the lore of the land, the history. Although in appearance they're kind of like orcs as well, because they've got pointy ears and sort of darkish skin. So a bit of a mix between lots of fantasy races. And yeah, of course these guys, being the keeper of the history of Summoner, they are aware of this guy, and it is sort of implied later on that one of the Khosani was a summoner previously, the Sohigani. Which is, I guess it's good news for Joseph. It means we have people willing to help us out. And again, in this game we see the people of the sky, which are the human beings essentially, and here we see the people of the earth, the Khosani. Now the people of the fire and people of the water, we don't meet until the sequel. But you know, that's something I like between the two games, the fact that they complement each other. Like the sequel fills in the bits of lore which we didn't get to see in the first game. Now, something I pointed out before is that some scenes seem like they should be cutscenes. Like we have this should be a really cinematic scene where Joseph has to talk to the leader of the Khosani here. And we're also given a few introductions. Upon the highest throne of the chamber. And again, this character of Ulsadana, she's quite important to the plot, but the thing is, I can't even see her. And because of the camera, I can't even zoom in on her model or anything, so it's kind of weird. We have this important character I've never actually seen properly. Yeah, and of course, again, like the dwarves of Middle-earth, these guys are the ones that created the rings. Oh, and here we go. In typical fantasy lore, they can't just give us what we want. We need to prove ourselves in some sort of task. But first, we get these introductions here. And is something we learn about Jakar? Apparently he's a nobleman of some kind. Which we sort of go into later on, but yeah, it's not really important to the character per se. Now to the people we're introducing to this woman. Jakar is the only one that gets a warm welcome, really. Yeah, and they're not too friendly about Rosaline. Because, just a reminder, Rosaline's order are people that keep the body of Iona, who's the daughter of their goddess, and yeah, if you've played the game, you should already know about the lore and the like. But yeah, they don't get on. And they've got a good point, because remember, the Iona Monastery is booked upon the bones of their god Vadagar. So really, that monastery should be theirs, or at least their bones. You know, it's a sacred site to them. But anyway, now we introduce Fleece to them, and yeah, she's given a swift warning about not stealing anything. Which, yeah, actually, why does Fleece get a hard time? Does she look like a thief? According to this world, I mean, she's just wearing a cloak. Although, granted, she is called Fleece, so that is a bit of a giveaway. Yep, so anyway, that will be our next dungeon. Now, there are a few side quests in this city, but we won't get to do them yet. We need to complete the Ordeal. You know, we need to complete the Ordeal, and then the tricky bit, and then the trial. Now, first we complete the punishment, then it's the trial, then it's the Ordeal, then it's the tricky situation, and then it's the mildly annoying challenge. Ugh. Why does it always have to be a deadly ordeal anyway? Can't we just have like a friendly game show or something? You know, Jeopardy. Yeah. In fact, challenge us to a game of Monopoly, and then I think that will be the safer option. Well, then again, I hate Monopoly. I think it's boring, and honestly, I'm not good at it. That's probably why I really hate Monopoly. So yeah, actually, yeah, I would be better off facing the Dungeon of Doom.